How's it? Welcome back to the channel. So let's talk a bit about prophetic dreams and telling dream characters that, this isn't real and that they are, in fact, in a dream. And so this actually came up because one of my longtime supporters at Tristo on Instagram, super dope guy, he makes really good music. You should check him out on SoundCloud. Anyway, he left a comment on one of my posts saying how, he had his first prophetic dream. And so me and him, we share pretty similar views on these kinds of things. And, for the most part, when it comes to me, I'm not totally on board the whole prophetic dream thing, mostly because I haven't had that experience myself. I mean, I like to leave the door cracked open to it potentially being possible, but I'm really waiting for a really solid hit, for me personally, so I can actually, potentially finally start to believe in it. And so this dream was definitely not a solid hit. I mean, I wouldn't even really consider it prophetic, but nonetheless, when I saw the news the following day, I was like, man, that was kind of a lot like my dream. So, in this dream, I was outside of like the hospital that I was born in. There's this big park out there. So there's like an event going on. I'm there with a bunch of other people. Like I got my direct family with me. My brother there is with me with his family. We got some friends with us. And then, a ton of other dream characters all in the same park. And, we're sitting under like this beach style, like canopy tent. And so we're all over there for the event, and then we start to hear some murmur, chatter going on. Then I look up in the sky and I see this missile coming down towards us that like breaks up into these smaller missiles. And I can tell by the trajectory of it that it's gonna like not like directly hit us, but land like right next to us. So, freak out, only have enough time to like tuck into a ball. It lands next to us and explodes, launches me into the air, launches all of us into the air, blows up our tent. And then, when I land, I'm glad to see that I have like, my direct family, like my wife and my kids land next to me. So we think like, oh crap, we gotta go run away. And then now all of a sudden there's like this forest like kind of off to the side of the park. So we go like to start running into the forest to go hide. So we get into the forest and we're kind of running through there trying to get further away from where these bombs are coming in. And we start to see like these houses kind of on the edge of the other side of this forest area. So we start running towards one. We get to the first house and, we're knocking on the doors trying to tell them like, hey, you got to let us in. All this crazy shit is happening. Then like this nice kind of older couple comes out to meet us and they're hearing our story and they're like, okay, so they take us in and they start cooking us food. And, as they're cooking us food, they turn on the news because we're telling them like, hey man, we're getting like attacked by bomb. And there is some like stuff on the news about the attack. But, aside from that, the vibe in the house is really nice. We're eating food, the food gets ready. I was also really happy that like my kids were acting really well. It's just like a obvious like real world issue or like worry I'm always having in my head. Like I hope my kids act good, which they pretty much always do. Anyway, so the kids are acting nice. The food's really great. We finished eating, and then I go out onto their porch, and now like the kind of forest area is gone. Now we're just kind of like in this town. And as I'm looking around, I can notice that all the people walking around the town are acting totally normal. Like, we're not getting bombed by missiles not far away from here. And then it starts to dawn on me that, oh, maybe this is a dream. So then as this is going on, my wife comes out onto the porch and I'm kind of trying to point this out to her. Hey, like, look at all these people, like, seeming like nothing's going on. I'm trying to tell her this might be a dream. And then as this is going on, I'm getting more confident, so I start to truly become lucid and know that it is a dream. So I tell her, oh, I'll do a reality check. And if I can go ahead and fly right here, then we know that I'm dreaming. And I do this kind of stuff, to dream characters and also in front of my wife in in a good chunk of my dreams. And typically my wife doesn't really care. When I tell dream characters that, hey, this is a dream, most of the time, there's no negative reaction like you'll see recommended in a lot of these like lucid dreaming don'ts lists or videos. People say, oh, don't do that. Dream characters get all angry. So for the most part, that is never an issue with me. I think mostly because, I've been doing that kind of stuff in my dreams for so long before I started getting into the lucid dreaming practice and never saw these recommendations saying not to do it, that I never had that expectation. So most of the time, dream characters just don't care. Every once in a while, they'll be really happy with it. And something I like to do a lot too is I'll like tell them that and then I'll try and take them and show them lucid dreaming stuff, in which case most of the time they start to get more into it and get more buy into it then and kind of have it be more of a positive thing instead of like a neutral thing. But like I'll do that to my wife a lot. I'll be like, hey babe, look, we're dreaming, or I can do this really awesome like backflip or whatever, and she'll be like, who cares? But in this one, because the vibe was, me and her are so worried about, getting attacked by these missiles and whatnot, I'm like, hey, like, look, if I can fly, then we know I'm dreaming. So I go up to fly in front of her and she just looks like she was so happy, had all this like immense sense of relief, all these good vibes in the dream. Was, really happy from that point on. I take her by the hand and we go fly, and it was all really cool and stuff like that. So that's the whole telling dream characters that, this isn't real and that we are in fact in a dream thing. But then to get to the prophetic part, so leading up to this, of course, I do watch the news some, so we're aware of like the different wars going around in the world. And this was right when Hamas was threatening to attack Israel. I hope I have that right. I'm pretty sure that was right. And so then they ended up like shooting missiles at them from far away, and then like their Israel's missile defense dome was like blowing them all up out of the sky. And so when I saw that on the news the next time, I was like, man, that's pretty similar to like the dream I was just having like the night before. So I wouldn't really call that prophetic. I mean, I actually wouldn't call that prophetic at all, granted, because I knew that, they were saying, hey, Hamas might attack in the coming days because Israel did something to them like, the week prior in retaliation. Plus, we've also been watching Fallout on Amazon too. And so, there's a bunch of bombs being dropped in that show. So, it probably had a lot to do with that as well. But nonetheless, I did think that was kind of neat. It did give me pause when I saw that, on the news the next day. And yeah, that's it. And then also for my boy at Tristo, man, if you want, man, I would really love to hear your prophetic dream stories. So if you could message that to me or, email it to me or whatever, that'd be super dope. But anyway, that's it. Until the next video, keep your lucid dreaming practice legit.